and welcome back to the Artful Chef. Miss M here today for my art students. This is Jara, my son. Jara, tell my students how old you are.
11.
He's 11. Okay, so if he can do this, you can do this. So y'all are talking about this week the artist M.C. Escher. And so M.C. Escher was famous for these drawings that he did that created this visual mazes and these shapes that repeated over and over again and that had these unique twists and turns. So, do you have any idea what those were called?
Tessellations.
Tessellations. So, tessellations are actually a connection between art and math. So, little math lesson here. So, there are 3 different types of tessellations. There is a translation. So, a translation, you could look at this. A translation is where something slides. So if I had this arrow and I slid it to another spot, that's a translation because it's moving or sliding. So if I had a rotation and I had something like this and I'm a rotation. So a rotation is something that turns, repeats when it turns, okay? So you could start here and then turn it. That's a rotation. All right?
Okay.
All right. Now, a reflection is another kind of tessellation. A reflection reflects or flips. So if you had this shape right here and you flipped it over like that, that would be a reflection. Same thing with this. If you had this arrow and you flipped it over like this, that's a reflection. So today, to do your assignment, you will need scissors, a piece of paper, some tape, a ruler, and something to write with. All right, so let's get started. So Jara, I want you to get your piece of paper and a pencil. I'm going to use a marker on mine so that you guys can see what we're doing. So we're going to take our ruler and we're going to measure over 3 inches from the side. So, Jara, take your ruler, and it is magnetic because this table, so yeah, pick it up, put it on the edge of your paper, and I want you to make a mark at 3 inches. So my ruler actually starts down like here. So make a mark at 3 inches.
Drawing a bit. Oh.
And then I want you to also, from the other side, make a mark at 3 inches. And then you're just going to draw your lines, okay?
Like this?
Yep, just like that. And it is a little bit more difficult because it's magnetic, but I thought it would help you.
Super difficult.
Then I'm going to let you keep working and I'm going to keep demonstrating. So I'm going to cut out my square that I just drew. That's 3 inches by 3 inches big. So an important thing to think about with tessellations is that when they repeat over and over again, they cover an area without leaving any gaps or overlaps. So if you had something like a circle, and I'll show you an example here with a circle. If you have circles and you repeat them or you slide them and you have it over next to each other, a circle next to a circle is going to leave a space because that's just the nature of a circle because it doesn't have those spaces to touch and fill in those gaps. So you cannot create a tessellation by having circles because no matter which way you do them, there's always going to be this gap between the circles. So circles are a no-no for this assignment. So you're going to take this square. Okay, Jerry, you have your square?
Yep, I have my square.
And you're going to label the sides 1 through 4. So you're going to start at the top. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. These numbers will help you later when we start cutting this apart to make our shape. So we're creating a unique shape to make our tessellation picture with. So it can be any kind of lines that you want on here, but we're going to only draw on side 1. So I want you to make some kind of unique shape that's going to go over here on side 1.
Okay. about
from
this?
one edge to the other.
There.
All right, so you are going to cut out what you just made on side one. So grab your scissors and cut out that shape.
Okay. Easier. I almost have cut. Hold on.
You're fine. No hurry, I'm just getting your tape ready.
Okay. Oh, I am bad at cutting.
All right, well, you did make a unique design. So you're going to take side one that you just cut out, and you're going to lay it against side three.
Against side 3.
The flat sides need to touch, so you're going to turn it that way.
Oh, like this?
Uh-huh. So flat side against flat side, and you're going to tape that together. So I got you some tape already torn there.
Let's see. So like this.
Yep. And I'm going to tape the front and the back to make sure that my shape holds its shape when we start working with it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off this excess tape that I have here so that I still have my shape that I've made.
Ooh, smart.
Okay? So you can flip it over and tape the back.
This? Okay.
Uh-huh. That way it doesn't flop around.
Like that.
Yep. And now you can
Okay.
cut off that extra tape.
Yes, ma'am. What's the next part while I cut this out?
Now we're going to draw a shape on side 2. Again, it can be whatever shape you want. You're going to come up with something creative here that goes to the edge of side 2. And you're going to cut out that shape.
I don't know what it is. What this is.
Well, I don't either, but we're going to come up with
That looks
something.
like a mouth and then a little mouth.
A little bit, yep. Mine kind of looks a little bit like a beak, like a bird's beak.
The bird's beak.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go ahead and tear you some tape off for this one.
Okay.
Because you are going to take this one, so side 2. Oh, that's okay. We'll tape it back together. So side 2 is going to tape to side 4. So again, straight sides.
This will go to side 4?
Mm-hmm. So you see how mine comes out a little bit under? That's okay.
Same
So I'm going to line it up at the corner and just tape that down. Tape the back side. And then I'm going to do what I did before, where I'm going to cut off this excess tape so I can still see my design.
Okay. Maybe take that a little bit better. Okay.
All right.
Now do the other side.
Okay.
And then, what's the next step? Well, I
So,
cut off the excess.
now that we have our design, whatever it is that you've come up with, we're going to start drawing this pattern over and over on our piece of paper. So we're going to let Jira get finished with that, and we're going to get it set up with some paper so we can show you the next step. All right, so you have followed the steps to get to this point. So my Art 1 students actually did just a plain one-dimensional picture where they traced their shape over and over on a piece of paper. But you guys, and here's Jira's shape that he made, you guys are going to be making a tessellation puzzle. So there's a couple of ways that you can do this. If you have access to craft foam, this is craft foam, You can buy this at Walmart or Hobby Lobby or Michael's, but it's it's a soft foam. You find it in the craft section. If you don't have access to craft foam, contact me. You know how to get in touch with me. I do have some at school that if we want to make arrangements for you to come to school and pick some up, you can do that. Or if you just have cardboard at home, get a piece of cardboard. You can use this. So what we're going to do is we're going to trace our shapes onto either our foam or our cardboard. So you're going to need, if you have foam and you can get 2 different colors, go ahead and do 2 different colors. But you're going to need a total of 4 shapes cut out. So we are going to work on this and show you in time lapse as we go through the process. But we will be back with you after we're done with that to show you how to put this together and what the next steps will be. All right, we have finished cutting out our shapes and we have put them together kind of like a puzzle. So I want to show you real quick what they look like.
Mine's better.
All right, so what I want you to do on this next step is I want you to think outside the box, use your imagination. Imagine like when you were a little kid laying on your back looking at the clouds trying to figure out what shapes they look like. So I want you to imagine these shapes being something. And then I want you to either paint or color that design on these shapes. And so I kind of think when I look at mine from one direction, I feel like it kind of looks a little bit like a fox. Then if I flip it the other way, I feel like it looks like a fish. So I'll surprise you with which one I decide to go with. So Jara and I are both going to go paint our shapes, and we'll be back to show you what they look like when we put them together. Because it is a tessellation puzzle, we are going to attach them all. And then if you are an in-person student, we're going to hang yours from the ceiling in the classroom, because why not? We look at our artwork. If you are at home, you can enjoy having it at home. And we'll be back in a few minutes. Jara and I are back and done with our tessellation puzzles. So we want to talk to you a little bit about them. So if you'll notice Jara's going to explain to you what his thought process was behind what he thought his looked like.
I thought it looked like
Speak loud.
I thought it looked like some kind of weird monster. So this monster is part bird, part cat, part dog, part black bear, part alligator, part shark.
All right. And Jara just, if you notice, did one side of his. Okay. I'm going to show you mine. And so I went ahead and did both sides of mine. So from this view, I feel like it kind of looked like fish. And all I did was we overlapped where the pattern repeated and where it was the same, and we glued them on top of each other just on the edges. So on the other side of mine, I felt like it kind of looked like little foxes or maybe a wolf, and so I went that route with it. So my tessellation puzzle actually has 2 sides. So when we hang it up from the ceiling, if it spins, then we see both sides of the artwork. So your assignment, what you need to do is do the first part of the video where you make your shape, create what it is that you're going to use, and then choose whatever you have at home. This one's cardboard, this one was foam, but whatever you have that you can make a 3D version of this, you're going to cut out your 4 pieces, paint them whatever your design is, or if you're using something that you can use markers on, you can do that. And then put them together, attach them together so that the overlapping pieces connect. And then turn this into Canvas, take a picture of it for your assignment. I look forward to seeing your work, and I will talk to you guys later.